Hi, welcome back to Simple Science. We took a couple days off for the weekend. Maybe you did too, but we're happy to be back. And this week, we are going to focus on getting to know the things that are in our backyard. I don't know about you, but I am starting to miss my friends from school and from work. You too? Yeah. So what I was thinking is that we could show you some of the friends that are in your yard, or if you go for a walk, you may meet some of these cool little friends, these friends that we find in nature. So today's lesson is all about two really cool organisms. An organism is just a living thing. We're going to talk about lichen and moss. So the first thing we're going to do, Penelope, I see you have your notebook over there. You're going to take some notes. You can take notes or not, up to you. But we're going to write that word lichen, and then we'll write the word moss. So the word lichen starts with an L. It's L-I-C-H-E-N. Lichen. Just like this. And we're also going to write the word moss. That one's a little bit easier to spell. Moss. M-O-S-S. Moss. Today there are three of us that are going to be here for the lesson. Miss Angela. Then we have Penelope. And then we also have Vaughn. He's making something out of a Play-Doh.
Wow.
Okay. A slime. Okay. So we're going to start first with talking about our friends lichen, okay? So Penelope and I were out for a walk. As you know, it's spring now. We had our first day of spring. And pretty soon, those pretty flowers are going to be popping up. And the trees have buds on them. Did you see those buds?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. They're all over the sidewalk. And it's a really great time to find a friend that really loves the water and the sunshine that are coming out with spring. Do you want to show them what we found on our walk? Yeah, put it really close. Look at that. So if you sit it down and just let it see still, they'll get to see. Or I guess we have to hold it. You want to hold it just like that? See all those curly looking things? They look like little leaves. Or they look like, they almost look like crunchy little pieces of lettuce growing. That's right, Vaughn. Those are lichen. I'm really lichen. So they're really easy to find right now because they have been waiting all winter for some sunshine and for some rain. They really love the rain. So they're very bright right now. So what I encourage you to do today is to go outside, if you can, with your grown-ups' permission, and see if you can find these little creatures growing on something. So they come in all different colors. Sometimes they're black, sometimes they're white. What color would you say these ones are, Penelope?
I'm eating lichen. Green, a little bit of blue. I'm eating lichen.
Green. I went outside again and I found a branch on the ground. Do you want to see if you can show them those lichen?
They grow in little patches.
They do. I saw some on the sidewalk today.
I'm eating lichen.
On the sidewalk, they grow in little round patches and sometimes they're slippery.
I'm eating lichen.
So the cool thing about lichen is that they are actually 2 or 3 things living together. Do you remember any of them what they are? Shh, come on, not right now. Okay, there's fungus, like a mushroom, algae, like you see growing in a pool or in the lake, and then sometimes there's even a bacteria, a cyanobacteria. There are 2 or 3 things living together.
It kind of reminds me of people living in a house.
Yeah, do you know what they call it when 2 or 3 things live
lichen.
together? They call it, you might want to write this one down. They call it mutualism. Get a piece of paper. They call it mutualism. M-U.
I want a notebook.
U-A-L-I-S-M. You get your notebook on to the next one. Mutualism. It's when two or more things live together and they're good for each other and they're nice to each other and they help each other out. What the fungus and the algae do together, the algae lives inside the fungus and it actually creates nutrients for the lichen. Scientists have a really hard time figuring out what lichen are. Are they plants? Are they fungus? Are they algae? They're always arguing over what to classify them as. But for now, we're just going to call them lichen. And hopefully you can find some outside. So here's an experiment that you can do with your lichen. Actually, we'll wait and we'll do the experiment with the lichen and the moss. Are you ready to move on to mosses? Mm-hmm. Okay. So mosses are a little bit different. And I actually saw some moss on here when we collected it, but I don't see it now.
I think it fell off.
Maybe, or it dried up?
Or it dried up.
So mosses are pretty amazing because mosses are... No, thanks, Fawn. Mosses are plants. They don't have roots. Their roots are actually called rhizomes. You see those things up close? They're like little roots, but mosses don't have flowers. They don't have stems. They have little leaves, and then they have these little rhizomes as their roots. And you may have seen them. They're kind of fuzzy. They grow on rocks. They like to grow in the cracks of the sidewalk. Mosses are super cool. And with your parents' permission, you can bring in a few of these items. You can bring in some lichen and some moss, and you can do an experiment with them. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to draw our moss and lichen. Thank you, Vaughn. We'll do a whole lesson on that. We're going to draw our moss and lichen, how they look right now. Okay, so Penelope's going to get out her notebook and her color pencils. You can pause the video and go find some of these creatures and draw them, or you can wait till the end. So this one is very dark green. It's almost black. Mosses can be light green, they can be blue, and like this, they can be green or even black. So we're going to draw our lichen and moss right now, how they are. And then what you can do is tomorrow, you can keep them inside overnight. You can check on them and see if they've changed at all, because they may have changed color. Hey, Vaughn, this is an important part where you get to use the spray bottle. So I've had this moss inside the house for a couple days, and it's feeling kind of crunchy. Do you see this? It's kind of crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Except the bottom is kind of...
Yeah. Do you know that there are mosses that can live inside of a cave with very little sunlight and very little water for a long time? And they wait. They basically like hibernate, and they wait for the sun and they wait for the water, and they dry up. But then if they get a little bit of water, you add some water. Do you want to spray the moss? It gets a little softer. We're going to see what happens. Vaughn is spraying the moss with water. It's soaking it up. Mosses are really good at soaking up water. So Penelope's drawing it before we watered it. That's pretty good, Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now what we're going to do with our moss is we're going to keep it in a sunny... It's already getting brighter. Oh, and fluffier. Look at it now. It's like fluffier and greener. We're going to put it in a window and see what happens overnight. It's already starting to look a little more fluffy. If there's one thing moss can do, is they can really soak up water.
That's why the whole pot isn't filled with water.
Yeah, they soak it right up.
Or pipe.
So for your parents, there's this really cool book I have to recommend called Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer. All of her books are really great, and they talk about nature in a way that really helps you find your friends in nature, which I think will be really important, especially as we begin missing our school friends. We can find some friends in nature. They're out there. Lichen and moss are two of them. You can also go to your... Penelope's still drawing her lichen. That's great. And hopefully you guys find some and can draw them. We're going to keep this inside the house and this moss. We're going to keep them in the house for about a week. And we're going to notice what happens to our lichen on here. You don't have to worry. You're not going to kill them. They're very resilient. They're very strong. We're not going to kill them. But what we might do, come on, do you want to water our lichen too? Every couple days, you can water your lichen. That's the fun part, the watering. And you can put them in a sunny window. But they're already looking a little brighter, huh? How do they feel?
Hard.
They feel hard, kind of crunchy. We'll see how they feel tomorrow. But already you can see they're getting brighter. They're soaking up the water really fast. You might wonder why there are lichen and mosses. They have a really important job. Not only do they absorb water, they create oxygen for us through the process of photosynthesis. So they have little cells inside that help them catch sunlight and turn it into energy. Maybe we'll do a whole lesson on photosynthesis sometime. When you bring your lichen in, you might even find that there are little creatures living in the lichen, like little gnats or maybe little ants or little bugs.
But they are harmless.
Yeah, harmless for sure. So we have some new friends from our backyard that we're going to keep going throughout the week. Oh, they're already looking. Look how much happier that moss looks. Check it out. That happened really fast. You want to show your picture that you made?
I had a picture of the moss and the lichen.
And the lichen. Another thing you could do, you could use some clay to make...
Or Play-Doh.
Or Play-Doh to design your own little lichen garden.
And then you can paint it.
You could paint it. You could use markers. You absolutely could. So that's our video for today. If you have questions about lichen, or if you find some really cool lichen in your backyard, you can go to the Ohio Department of Natural Resource page, ODNR, and they have a really cool field guide that can help you identify and name your lichen. Or you could just make up a name for your lichen. Like this one looks like it has... So cool. What does this look like? What would you call this one if we gave it a name?
Fuzzy.
Fuzzy. This is our fuzzy moss. And I would call this lettuce lichen. So you can make up your own names too. You don't have to use the science names if you don't want. But if you want to identify them, you can go to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and look at their lichen guide. And they have a guide to mosses too. So we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do some exploring of soil. So hopefully you'll join us for that, for more backyard friends.
Soil and seeds.
Maybe seeds. We'll see, huh? All right, you want to say goodbye, everybody? Bye, friends.
Bye.